Hello everyone, welcome to Searching for Players. As always, I am Player 1, David. Joining me, as almost
Player
always,
3.
is Alex, Player 3. And we're going to get right into it. We just literally finished watching the Xbox E3 conference. And this video is going to be about our reactions, kind of what they covered, what we think of everything, how well we think they did. And let's just jump right into it.
Yeah.
So EA's press conference was yesterday.
Yeah.
And we both kind of had the same reaction, which was,
more fast.
This one definitely much higher energy, many more games.
They showed a lot of games.
So they came out and they said, it opened with a Halo teaser. I'm going to call it a trailer.
Halo Infinite.
Yeah, it's called Halo Infinite. It seems like this is Halo 6.
Yes.
But it's going to be subtitled Halo Infinite.
I mean, they got some like really like wonky arse like rhino in Halo 6.
There were alien rhinos.
Yeah.
There was because
flares, rhinos.
It was one of those teasers. You don't know that it's Halo right away. You see soldiers. I could kind of see like an ODST type helmet, and then you see Master Chief's helmet in his hand. So it wasn't on his head. Maybe we'll see his face finally. And then the Halo music kicked in, and everything I guess was in engine.
Yep. It looked good.
It looked good.
I'd like to see gameplay.
Yeah, they didn't show like true gameplay. They showed some warthogs driving through a really pretty open area.
Yeah,
that looked like it could be like gameplay, shot from an angle. Yeah. But that was it. They didn't give a release date. They didn't really give us too much information about it. They never officially said Halo 6, but I just wonder if these titles is the new way, because Halo 5 was Halo 5 Guardians, right?
Correct.
So maybe they're just going to start dropping the number and just put out, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because eventually you're like, Halo 9. Like, it starts to lose some of its luster.
Right. So. Unless you're Final Fantasy. Then it's just...
Right, yeah. 16.
But so that's how it opened.
Correct.
And then, I just forgot his name. What's his face came out?
Phil Spencer.
Phil Spencer came out.
Phil.
Talking about the exclusives, what they were going to be showing us. 18, yeah, I have the number here
18 Xbox exclusives, 15 world premieres.
Right, things we've never been
seen
like
before. 50 games.
Games total, yeah.
Yeah, and that was one thing I got to say. Like, they pulled the page out of like Sony's book from a couple years ago. Like, we're not going to talk. We're just going to show you games. Yeah, and there were a lot of them.
Yeah, there were a lot of games. It was video after video. Only a couple developers came out and talked. Yeah. Phil Spencer showed up every like 4 or 5 videos to say something.
Like, I'm still here.
Right.
Yeah.
And it kept moving. And the stage was set up, you had your big screen like you always do, but there were a lot of smaller screens. And I thought for sure at some point they were all going to be filled with people playing something. Yeah. There was the closest we ever got, we'll kind of get to it, but there was a part with Forza Horizon, which everybody knew was coming.
Spoiler alert.
There were about 16 people playing that at the same time, but that didn't even fill up all the stations, so I'm not sure if it was
maybe that's just, they're going to have people that can go and play.
Right.
Like
right
after,
there, yeah.
So.
But yeah.
But anyways, so they did that.
Right. So it came out. They started talking about exclusives, and the first thing they showed was Ori, and it was. I just forgot the full title of it. It's not Ori and the Blind Forest anymore. No. It's the new Ori game. We'll probably flash it up on screen so you'll see it that way.
Yeah, it comes out 2019.
2019, and it looked pretty good. I mean, if you like the first one, I think you're gonna like this one.
Yeah, it looks good.
Really good animation style.
So there's ching. There's two exclusives.
Right. So
right off the bat.
Yes, Halo and Ori.
Yep.
Should we keep it running? I don't have my pencil here, but so that's 2, right?
That's 2.
18. Yes. So then the next thing they showed started off feudal Japan, a lot of sort of samurai-looking action.
Well, and it had the shadows die twice,
right?
Which is good to know because I didn't think shadows could die, but now I know they can.
Takes 2 times.
It takes twice, yes.
So it was revealed it's the new From Software game.
It's not Bloodborne 2. Take that, Sony.
Right.
Microsoft's getting it as well.
And it's called, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, but Sekiro.
Sekiro. Yeah. That's it. Sekiro. Shadows die twice.
Right. So. And it looked kind of like a feudal Japan Dark Souls-ish.
Yes.
A little faster. I haven't played Bloodborne, but I played some of the Dark Souls. Look a little faster. A little more.
If you'd like to comment that he needs to play Bloodborne, please do below because he needs to play Bloodborne.
I do need to play it. But it looked good. Again, no actual gameplay.
Correct.
But I think, again, everything in engine.
Yeah, well, I think some of that it looked like it may have been a little bit more in engine. So I think we got a little bit more, maybe, with some of that. So.
I think so. But looked good. Good announcement. Cool to finally know what From Software is doing. Yes. And that it's going to be multi-platform, not just...
Yeah, exactly. So it will be out on probably PS4 and of course Xbox.
Right.
So
Then Fallout 76.
Yes.
So they actually came out and gave some information on that one. It takes place in West Virginia.
Yep, West Virginia.
And it takes place before all the other games, which
Pretty
some
cool.
people were guessing about. Because I
Right.
guess Fallout Shelter 76 is in some of the Fallout lore. That it was the first vault that opened, and it's when people first came out.
Correct.
After the nuclear apocalypse. So that's happening.
Yes.
It is. They already confirmed it was a survival RPG. So we saw, again, in-game footage, not true gameplay, but
Sure.
stuff happening.
But it looked
in-game.
good. It did.
It did. It looked pretty good. I've never really been big into the Fallout series. We talked about that before. But it looked good. And I just forgot his name. I can't remember any of these people's names. But he was the guy that's always been in charge of Fallout was there from Bethesda.
Yes.
I just forgot his
That
name.
guy's name.
I can see
that
it now.
guy.
Anyways,
who-
we're
yes.
not doing great on names today.
Yes.
And they there weren't any big announcements attached to that, right? They just kind of actually showed some footage. which we
No,
hadn't
well, they
seen
did
before.
announce that Fallout 4 is now, as of today, on live. Or
Right.
The
Xbox Game Pass.
Game
Yeah.
Pass, correct.
Yeah, so you can, if you have Game Pass, you can go play Fallout 4 right now,
Right
Which is cool.
So that means if you have Game Pass, David, you can play Fallout 4 as well between that and Bloodborne.
Right. Catch up
War.
on my big games that I've missed. Yeah.
Yes.
Then they popped up a Life is Strange spin-off from Don't Not Entertainment.
Correct.
It's called Captain Spirit. It
Yes.
focuses. So I haven't played any of the Life is Strange games yet.
I haven't either.
I want to. I like.
I mean, it
those
seemed
kind
like
of games.
a really good, like, watching it, I was like, man, this would make a really good movie.
Right.
I'm not quite sure how you would play it.
Yeah. So you play as this young kid. He clearly has like an active imagination. So it'll show him in his backyard pretending he's in a spaceship, and the game changes so that he's actually like in a spaceship flying around and stuff. So obviously there's going to be a mix of like real gameplay with sort of this his imagination, I guess.
Correct.
So that was cool. These games going to be high on emotion.
Yeah.
They always are.
Oh, bring out the tears.
Yeah. And it's free.
Yes. And it comes out,
I can't remember if they. I think
I
they
think it was
said
end of this month.
yeah,
June.
June or
20
July. Yeah,
I
something
thought it was
like
June
that.
26th, but
Yeah.
I may be wrong.
I didn't write that one down, so it's possible. But it was free. Was the interesting thing. So I'm guessing it's sort of like a standalone episode, and maybe this is because I think they are working on Life is Strange 2.
They are.
And so maybe this will somehow tie into that. This gives us like an episode
Maybe.
taste, and then this character will be in it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, then they said another exclusive, Crackdown 3.
Yeah.
Doubled down on Terry Crews for
That's
sure.
right. And it comes out the day of all releases, right?
Yes, February.
February 22nd.
I think it was February 22nd. They may have just said February.
Oh, maybe that
but-
one is February.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not sure they put a firm date, but they may have. But yeah, it seems like everything's coming out in February now.
Yep.
It is, that's an Xbox exclusive. And again, they didn't show true gameplay, but they definitely showed full-on in-engine. Because, sometimes in-engine cutscenes have been modified a little bit.
Correct.
This was like gameplay that had been captured and thrown, but then done cinematically with him running around.
Correct, yeah.
And it was all Terry Crews' character. So I don't know if that's who you're going to play as, or if he's a selectable character. But it was obviously him. It looked just like him. And
Yeah.
just blowing up stuff. He narrated the whole trailer.
Exactly.
So,
You could tell.
yeah.
Because, I mean, he had, was he in those Axe commercials?
Yes.
You could tell he was smelling his, was it Smelf?
I don't know. There were so many of those.
I'm not bringing those up, but still. It's Terry Crews.
And it looked like Crackdown.
Yeah. I
What
mean,
you expect. Large explosions, ridiculous jumps. And,
we just see it's been so long.
Right.
And I feel like that was one of those games
and it's
where
still not till next year. February of next year.
I
so
mean,
it's like,
it was one of those games that was going to be kind of a niche market. Like, I don't think it was going to drive people to buy it. And by the time they're done, it still looks fun.
Right.
But
and that's
we'll see.
exclusive number 3 now.
That's 3.
So,
Yep.
next they had a quick trailer for Nier Automata Become as Gods edition.
Yep.
It's basically the Game of the Year edition for Nier Automata that, had previously been a PS4 exclusive.
So,
And
that's good.
June 26th, 2018. Maybe that's what you were thinking.
Maybe, probably.
But yeah, so that'll be out within a few weeks.
Yep,
So that's
which is
cool.
good.
And luckily I never got around to picking that up. So,
So
maybe
now you will.
I can get the complete edition. That was followed by Metro Exodus.
Look good.
That's a February 22nd game.
That is, yes.
Yep. And they showed gameplay. It was sort of a montage of gameplay and in-engine cutscenes and actual gameplay and things. It looked good.
It did.
It looked really clean.
Yeah.
It looked like I always go back and forth on those post-apocalyptic games.
There's a lot of them.
This one I like. I
Yeah.
like it. I don't know. There's something about the style of that series. But it was just a quick trailer. Not much more than that, I think. Then they
like
followed this up with a Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer.
Yep, Frozen.
Yeah, so they announced. Well, they didn't really announce it. They showed the new world of Frozen. Mm-hmm. They also showed Tangled, which I can't remember if we knew about that one before or not.
I'm not quite sure.
I can't remember, but they definitely showed Frozen, a lot of Frozen, and then Tangled. They showed some new summons real quick. There was sort of like a montage of gameplay.
Yes.
There was, it looked like the raft ride maybe from like Animal Kingdom, because I know the rides from Disney are going to be like summons this time. We'd already seen the train from, I think it's Big Thunder Mountain maybe, or something like that. Yeah. So, and I think maybe the teacups, something like that. Yeah. So some new summons were shown.
I mean, the return of the gummy ship.
The return of the gummy ship.
Gummy ship is back.
Some people loved that.
Baby.
Some people hated it. It looks a little more fleshed out.
Yeah.
The old one, it was just move around this area. This, it's like a full-on like space sort of flying around and stuff. Could be cool. I'm assuming you'll still be able to modify your own ship. That was the thing most people liked about the old gummy ship, was being able to modify the parts and stuff. So.
I mean, who doesn't want a cool gummy ship?
Right. The only thing that was weird about the whole trailer, it had music and voiceover,
but nothing else.
No sound effects. So like you'd see people get hit, and it would just be like, and they'd fall down, and there were no sound effects accompanying it. So it was a little odd. Like they didn't have time to finish the trailer before it got out.
It makes you wonder, like, are they saving the sound effects for Sony's conference?
Right.
Yeah, they're like
the complete trailer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, no. So this is what they do. So at Sony's conference, bear with me. They just put in the sound effects, but no voice or music.
Right.
And then you have to play them at the same time to get the full
and
experience.
it all syncs up to Pink Floyd.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Again, obviously that's not a console exclusive, but we got some new worlds. So since this was at Xbox, I wouldn't be surprised if Sony gets their own with their own new world. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And this conference was quite long.
Yes.
It was almost an hour and a half, I think. Oh, at least an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff.
Yeah, usually they're about an hour. This was long. So then next they, this was an exclusive. I think they're kind of pushing it with this. It's the Sea of Thieves expansion. 2 expansions.
That's what I'm saying. So is each one of those?
I think so.
Okay.
So that's up to 5 now, right?
So you're like, so now it has the content of one game.
Right. So Sea of Thieves was the pirate game, came out early this year. Sold well. But, it sold well out of the gate.
And then it sunk.
It kind of, I see what you did there.
There wasn't enough booty in the game to keep it going. So.
They announced 2 expansions. Cursed Sails, which will be out in July, and Forsaken Shores, I think was the name of it.
Yes, it was September.
September, right.
Yeah. You don't use booty enough.
In a treasure sense. Sure.
In a treasure sense,
sure.
Of course.
Although you can check out an unboxing video I did of a pirate-themed loot crate. There's plenty of booty in that one.
That's right. Dun, dun.
But anyways, so if you are a Sea of Thieves fan, I guess it's good news. New content, full-on expansions, things to do.
Yeah, they didn't have prices though, so that'll be one thing.
No prices.
I'm afraid, please don't go with the Destiny route.
And it was basically a CG trailer.
Yes.
And it talked about new shores and new lands.
And
so
I couldn't tell that was. I thought that was just one. I didn't know that was 2. So that's kind of like maybe they just kind of hinted. So my question is, are those $20 expansions? I mean, I feel like if they were free, that would be really nice.
Yeah, they didn't get into all that, so
that'd be interesting.
We'll probably get more info on the first one soon. That I will say, the only bad thing about this press conference was because it was fast. There were a lot of videos. We didn't get tons of detail except for a few things. It was just like teasers, get excited, and then move on to the next thing. So this was actually my disappointment.
So
Battlefield,
5.
That's up to 5. Yeah. Battlefield 5 was teased at the EA conference yesterday as far as the story was going. The story sort of trailer was supposed to be played today at the Xbox conference, and it was. It was
all 15 seconds of it.
Yeah, it was barely longer than what they showed at the EA press conference. I mean, it sounds like it might be kind of, they're trying to add more personal touch to the Battlefield story, but they didn't really show much. There was definitely no gameplay. It was all in-engine stuff, but I don't know.
Well, it makes you wonder, yet again, right? Are you going to see, the second half of that at the Sony trailer? And when you put them together, you can make sense of it? Because it made no sense.
Yeah, so, I don't know. That was disappointing. The next one was a world premiere and exclusive, so this is 6. Forza Horizon 4, surprising no one.
Correct.
This is Forza Horizon. They go every other year.
Let's face it. There's 2 things in life, there's 3. You're going to die, Assassin's Creed's going to get leaked, and you're going to get a new Forza game every year.
Oh, yeah, I'll just say now, there was no Assassins at this one.
There was not.
Microsoft, they usually like a little Assassins, but not this time.
I know, usually, honeymoon's over? Are they like breaking up? Like,
oh, there's some Ubisoft later. We'll get to that. But yeah, so Forza Horizon 4 world premiere. They had a trailer for it. Then this is when they actually came out. The developer came out, gave us more information. It takes place in Britain.
Yep.
Really, it's the United Kingdom because they also talked about like racing in Scotland and stuff. So they talked about dynamic seasons. So as you play, sometimes it'll be like winter, which will change the landscape. They showed like a whole lake was frozen over. People were able to race across the lake.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Fall. It's a shared open world. Again, this is the one they had like 16 people set up on those systems playing all at the same time. They could race. There were like little, I guess, pre-made dialogue choices. Like say, hey, you want to race or you want to do this or whatever. They said it's going to be 60 frames per second on the Xbox One. Sorry. On the Xbox One X, 60 frames per second. Talked about the quit chat. It was funny. You could see in the stadium where the press conference was, they had like leaves falling from the sky when it changed to autumn and stuff.
Yeah, no rain when it changed to spring.
Yeah,
there's a guy out there with a hose,
right,
spraying people down.
They said blimps will fly overhead announcing events that everybody can take
like
part
world
in.
Events,
stuff. Right?
Some kind of neat. I mean, it seems neat. The rest of them are really, really good. So.
And then they said October 2nd.
Yeah,
and it will be included with Game Pass.
Correct.
So, which they they had said all new Xbox exclusive games will always be with.
So that's
Game Pass,
6.
But
we're up to 6.
So we're up to 6. Yeah.
So now we're going to I think to me this is probably the biggest announcement of the entire conference.
And really, this is in a lot of ways this is what Microsoft needed to do. Sony's been doing this.
Yes.
Microsoft basically announced that they've added a bunch of new studios.
5, to be exact.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5.
So they did.
The first one they kind of created, it sounded like themselves.
Yes.
Initiative.
The Initiative.
Which was, that's the new.
I mean, that's
Microsoft
good. They have
studio.
Initiative to create a new studio called The Initiative.
So then the first one they bought is Undead Labs.
Which is Days Gone.
No,
sorry. State of Decay
2. That's what just came out.
Not Days Gone, Sony.
Right. So yeah, that just came out. Or they just announced they bought them. They announced Playground Games, which makes the Forza Horizon. Which I guess they didn't actually own them; they just worked with them.
Correct.
So then,
well, there's Ninja Theory, which was the big one.
Ninja Theory, which was the big surprising one.
Yes.
They made Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Yes, Hellblade.
Which was originally a PlayStation exclusive, then later was brought to the Xbox, and now Microsoft has bought
They've made some good games in the past. They made Heavenly Sword for PS3. They made Enslaved for
which
Xbox
I really liked,
360 and PS3.
And their games have always been critically well reviewed. They just don't always seem to sell quite as well.
Correct.
Although Hellblade sold really well. So
Hellblade did. Yeah, and then they also
Compulsion Games.
Compulsion Games, yes.
Which I forget what
they did. We Happy Few.
Oh yeah, I marked it on here.
So We Happy Few, which is interesting. So I did get confirmation. So because that's the game they're making right now. It comes out, I believe, in August.
But yes, August 10th. Yeah.
Gearbox is distributing that one, so that one will still be cross-platform.
Right.
But after that, obviously, it's only on Microsoft.
Because I think they already had the deal with Gearbox for to develop or to produce it.
Yes.
And so they're still
So it's not like if you have your PS4 edition reserved, you're not SOL.
And go back, just real quick to jump back to Playground Games. The rumor about them has been that they were working on a Fable game. And Phil Spencer teased that they are bringing their open world expertise to an IP. More information later. You know? So, maybe it was Fable could still be happening. We didn't get any confirmation on that, but we'll see. The next one was I wrote down world exclusive. So it may have been a world exclusive world premiere. It's Tales of Vesperia, the definitive edition.
Correct.
So this was an exclusive game in the Tales of series, which are
Xbox 360
JRPG for 360, right?
Yeah. You remember that back in the day when Xbox had Japanese
I know
role-playing games?
And it was considered one of the best Tales games too.
Mm-hmm.
What I wasn't sure of is if this is still exclusive to Xbox or if we're going to see this on PS4. I couldn't tell.
I think it's probably exclusive though.
Okay, so this would be
I would assume it's
7? No, 8.
7.
Okay, losing track. 7. And then all it was a trailer. Showed a lot of gameplay footage. Looked clean. If you like the Tales series, you know what to expect. This was followed by the world premiere trailer of Division 2. We knew this was coming. We hadn't really seen anything on it yet.
Look good.
This one gave us a full gameplay trailer. Now it was obviously a Ubisoft trailer.
I'm gonna say the way those are like the classiest stuff.
Right.
Like, gamers I've ever met. They're like, Good day, sir.
Right.
Hey, please pick up the
I need to level up. Please
Yes.
help me.
Yes.
It's that canned dialogue where it's supposed to be real players talking over headsets. None of it sounds natural. Ubisoft has been always really bad
Whatever
about that.
do you mean, David?
So,
That's
yeah.
the way I play video games
know.
all of the time. I pronunciate and everything.
It looked good. It looks like an evolution of what Division was. Like I said, it was all gameplay. They did give us a date, March 15th.
Correct.
So next year. We'll maybe see more of this at Ubisoft's conference.
Probably. I'd
We'll
assume
see.
so.
So if you're a big Division fan, it looked good.
Yeah, it did.
A lot of cool teamwork stuff, that sort of thing. I didn't play the first one, but
I didn't either.
so then they brought out, and I didn't write down her name, but they basically brought out the woman who's in charge
Ashley.
of.
Her name is Ashley.
Was it? See, how do you
Yes.
know this stuff?
I don't remember her last name.
They basically talked about the Xbox Game Pass for a little bit, pushing that hard. Basically, that's the service you subscribe to, and you get access to a whole bunch of Xbox games in the Xbox Game Pass. And the big thing that they announced was Halo Master Chief Collection will be on there later this year, and then they announced Division, Elder Scrolls Online, and Fallout 4 are all available today. Right. So, and of course they had announced Fallout 4 earlier, but
Yeah.
all three of those games are now available on Xbox Games Pass. So that's cool. It is a good deal. If you're like me, you like to buy your physical games. No reason to get them twice, but it is a good deal. The Game Pass is not a bad deal. So then we had a little bit of
physical games.
so this is where we're going to lose count because they had a montage of
After
like indie games, Xbox ID or whatever it's called, and
I think
there
there
were
were like 2 or 3.
I want to say 3 or 4 that they were during the montage in the bottom it would say either like Xbox Game Pass, so that one's available there, or it would say like console launch exclusive. So
Correct.
Xbox was getting this indie game first.
Yes.
I don't think there were any true straight up exclusives in there, but it was a mix of a bunch of different indie titles or
Yes.
whatever, which is cool. Those are always fun. It's always good to have those to round out your system.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad sometimes they just do a montage and they don't devote a whole section of the
Yeah.
conference to like trying to drag out an indie game. So then they followed up with a trailer for Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
That's right.
Of course, we already seen some of that before, but this was again all in engine. I think before we'd only seen a CG trailer.
Maybe.
This was all in engine stuff.
Yeah, it looks
Mostly
good.
in engine stuff. If you like the other ones, I think you're gonna like this one. I'm not sure if it's gonna do much to change up the formula.
It seems very.
The story looks pretty good. We may
She's
get a
still
little
raiding a
more.
lot of tombs,
Yeah,
you know.
and the cool thing, and I've only played the first one, so I don't know if she was like this in the second one. But it looks like in this one she was wearing that blue sort of tank top with the shorts.
No, so that
very
was not,
similar.
It did not. I mean, the second one takes place like
In the snow
In
and stuff,
snow.
right,
So yeah,
right.
she wasn't tank topping
Yeah,
it
she
up.
wasn't getting but so she looked much closer to the Lara Croft of old, where that sort of outfit or whatever, which I think that's cool.
Yeah, it was a
And
good
they
game.
said September 14th. I think we already knew that.
Yes, that was already announced.
And then they came up with another. Okay, so after this was just a teaser. It was a console launch exclusive. So again, another launch exclusive. It was called Session.
Yes.
At first, we were like, "Is it Tony Hawk? Is it
Is it
Skate?"
Is it Tony Skate?
You're right.
Oh, okay.
It was a skateboarding game. It was just a teaser. Didn't really show much. Didn't tell us anything outside the name. I think it was an in-engine trailer.
I believe so.
Just because some of the shots were slightly awkward, like trying to work with the engine to get that right, where CG would have been much smoother. But I mean, if you like skateboard games, we haven't gotten a good one in a while, so
Sure.
hopefully, fingers crossed. Then after that, they had another launch exclusive. At first, I didn't know what it was. I was getting kind of a Dynasty Warriors feel a little bit from the combat. So it's the MMORPG Black Desert.
Correct.
Which-
They had announced that last year.
They had teased it or something, and I didn't write down much about it. Did they give us a date on it?
I don't. I think it's supposed to be early 2019.
Yeah,
but
something
don't
like
quote me
that.
on
I think it's one of those Korean RPGs that's become more popular. I've never been in the MMORPG, so I kind of tuned out at that point. But it's cool that it's coming to Xbox.
Yeah,
get
yeah,
that
exactly.
variety and diversity. Then we had another world premiere, not an exclusive, but Devil May Cry 5, which we talked about this.
And you
in our
kind of knew it was
preview.
coming. They just registered a trademark for the website.
Right,
so.
right. So everybody's figuring it was going to be like a full blown Devil May Cry 5. It was basically the whole thing it was just a trailer, but it was in game for sure. you kind of got gameplay in the trailer, but it wasn't like true, like someone sitting there playing it. And at first we weren't sure who the main character was.
Yeah, at first you couldn't tell
seemed
if it was
too
Dante
young
or
to be
Neo.
Dante, or if it was maybe Virgil somehow. Though I think in that series Virgil doesn't exist. I don't know. So in the mainline series, in the last one, there were two characters, Dante and Nero.
Nero. Yeah.
Nero appears to be the main character. In
Correct.
This. He actually has a robot arm for one of his hands now. He can do crazy things with it.
He's like Luke Skywalker.
Right. At the very, very end of the trailer, you got a
see
little
Dante.
teaser of Dante on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
So he's in it. The image they threw up in the arena, it had Dante there next to Nero, kind of like looking away.
There was a
and
third
stuff.
character as
and there
well.
was a third character. Yeah. So we'll see. Now the combat and stuff, I definitely got DMC vibes, which was
Yes.
the reboot they did that some people like. Some
Well,
people
that was
didn't.
actually Ninja. Was that Ninja Theory?
That was Platinum, I think, wasn't it? No, I think you're right. It may have been Ninja Theory. I think it was Ninja Theory. But this looks like it's back to the mainline series. A lot of people have been waiting for this. So it was cool that Xbox revealed it. Obviously, it's not an exclusive. It's being made by Capcom, but that looked cool. We didn't get any dates, though.
Developer was Ninja Theory.
So it was Ninja Theory. Okay. Then they came up. This is another one I'm a little iffy on. This is a Xbox exclusive. It's an expansion for Cuphead. Now, I'm really excited
that's
about
8.
it. Right, not including any of the montage. Which
Correct.
Says
So,
3-ish.
yeah, so maybe 11-ish.
Right. But the
12-ish.
I am excited for this. I don't want people to think I'm not. I really liked first Cuphead. They showed some new characters like Miss Chalice.
Yes.
Which the ghost version of her was in the first one or something.
Spoiler
So
alert.
yeah, I don't know what that. But it's called Delicious Last Course. So it's gonna be more food themed, I guess. But just, it's an existing game that's already exclusive, and they're saying the expansion is exclusive, so obviously it is.
That is, yeah.
But whatever.
I know. I mean, it's good.
It's what
It's
they do
good
with
to get
Sea of
more.
Thieves. No, it is, absolutely. And I think all they
that's
said was
2019.
yeah, so I think early 2019. So we still got a little ways on that one. Then they said a launch exclusive. So there's another just launch exclusive. It was a game called Tunic.
Mm-hmm.
It was an indie. It looked cool. It was very cartoony. You played as
It's
this little
a fox who looks like Zelda.
Yeah, it had a very
Or Link.
Zelda, old school Zelda vibe, like a top-down view going around.
He's cutting some grass with a sword.
Yeah,
like
opening
all little
treasure
kids do.
chests. Yeah, they didn't give us a whole ton of info on it, but it looked cool.
Yeah.
For an indie game, whatever. Then they had this was a world premiere, not an exclusive. The trailer starts. You see what I was pretty sure was from Naruto, then from One Piece.
And then I called the Dragon Ball Z.
Then you called out the Dragon Ball Z, and then basically it looks like it's a giant mashup fighting game.
Correct.
Made by Bandai Namco.
Yep.
This is the first time we're seeing it. It's called Jump Force, which I'm assuming is because of Shonen Jump. Most of these
Correct.
manga were published by Shonen Jump.
And then at the end they showed
At the very end, like on a cliff overlooking the whole battlefield, you see, I forget the character's name,
Light.
but it's Light from Death Note.
yeah.
And the demon too, whatever
And
his name
yeah.
is. But they all it said was 2019.
Yep.
They released Dragon Ball, I think, in February last year.
Yes.
So it's possible this will come out around the same time. And it looked like it's a more of a 3D type
Correct.
fighter. Characters flying around and stuff, sort of like the Naruto. Or
Yeah,
One
it's not
Piece
done.
games.
It's not. It's obviously it's not the cell shade of
The fighters.
Arc System works.
Yeah, it's not made by Arc Systems. It's going to be Bandai Namco straight up.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
these mashup games are always fun, even if they're not like super competitive. They're always fun to
Oh, yeah.
see your favorite characters, mix it up.
That'll
so.
be interesting.
Then they had another world premiere, Dying Light 2.
Yep.
So again, not console exclusive. This is another one of those survival games with zombies, and the zombies come out at night. During the day, you have to deal with other human characters.
Yeah, but the big thing on this one though is that what you do in the environment will affect they gave how the game goes from there.
Right. Yeah.
So that seemed pretty.
They gave some examples of where you could take out this underground group to help sort of the military organization become stronger. It helps the city become cleaner and look better, but now the military organization has more power and is kind of like ruling over everyone with an iron boot or whatever.
Sure.
Whereas then they showed you helping the underground group, making water become almost like a black market commodity, and
then you get some unsavory people.
So
come in to try to take your water.
The town doesn't become quite as nice and stuff, but the military's not ruling over everything. So it's like all these different choices, and it was kind of interesting. Again, I'm not really into these kind of games, but if I was, this one seems like it'd be at the top.
The first one was good. The first one was a fun game, so the second one looks pretty good.
And I like it because it has a lot of those parkour type elements, how to traverse through the city and stuff. So so then the next one was an exclusive world premiere. So this is brand new trailer, exclusive to Xbox. This has been something we've joked about for years. 2019, and this is a teaser in the greatest sense of the word, but it was a Battletoads reveal.
They took what Nintendo did last year with like Metroid Prime 4 and said, we'll give you one better, more words.
It was pretty funny. They were talking about how we need these 3 heroes to return, and then you see the little bike from the old game smash into the rock wall and everything like comes to a halt because that was the hardest level in the old Battletoads. And that was it. We didn't really see the characters. We didn't really see gameplay.
You didn't see anything.
No. And I think it gave some ridiculous titles, like these ridiculous descriptors of what the game would look like. I'm excited. We don't know anything, but I'm excited. 2019, I bet we're not going to hear anything major until next E3.
Probably.
But it exists. And that's another exclusive. So is that 9 or 10 now?
Well, no, so we were, I'd say if you add the 4, we're probably up to like 13.
Okay, if you include the montage, absolutely.
Yes.
So then we had world premiere, and this got leaked just a couple days ago, but Just Cause 4.
Yeah.
We saw full-on like in-game footage and trailer.
If you ever wanted to drive into a tornado, this is the game.
The trailer ends with him driving some nice sports car directly into a tornado and flying around in it and stuff. So they're adding more like weather effects to affect everything that's going on. We did get a date, December 4th of this year.
Yep.
So that's cool. That's a game that's coming out this year. Not exclusive to Xbox, but I'm sure it'll run great on the Xbox One X. But if you're a fan, it looks like more of the Just Cause craziness, jacking vehicles, stringing things together, explosions, all that.
Looks good.
Yeah. And then another world premiere, which confused me. This is an exclusive, sort of. It was the Gears of War logo pops up.
Yes.
The wall breaks down. A chainsaw breaks through the wall, and it's Marcus Phoenix in pop figure form.
Yes. So that's my question. I'm assuming these next few that we're about to talk about, like these are all considered exclusives.
Right.
Okay, but so you're right. It's a mobile pop figure game.
And I don't know if it's going to be like a Lego style game of Gears, a little more cartoony or what. They didn't reveal any gameplay. There's just the CG cutscene of the figures interacting with some other figures, like a 3v3 thing maybe.
Yes.
And then it ended.
Correct.
And then what's his name? Rod Ferguson?
Yes.
I remember that one. He came out on stage, briefly mentioned that they've been working on this with Pop, then immediately went into a strategy game called Gears Tactics.
Yep.
I think they said it takes place before the games, like in the early parts of the war with the Locust or whatever.
Yeah, PC. It didn't say for Xbox. It said PC.
I bet it will be, but it might not be. I mean, they definitely said PC. It's sort of like a top-down, grid-based tactics battle type thing, which I do like those games. And I'm a Gears fan, so we'll see what they do with it. But
And then they did what?
And then they went right in. He said, and of course we're working on Gears 5.
So just to get this out there, it's not of war,
right?
Just Gears 5,
right? They're going full on just Gears 5, not Gears of War or anything. And I thought that's all we were going to get, but then they went into a full story trailers, in-game cutscene stuff.
It looked really good.
It looked really good. If you beat 4, you'll probably be excited for this. It obviously is picking up, and it looks like this time the girl, Kate, I think, is going to be the main character.
Yeah.
At least for some of it. They focused on her. It looks like her and the other guy, I forget his name, not JD, but the third guy who was always with you, is going to be one of the main characters. Look, I'm excited. They did a good job with the story trailer, a lot of emotional stuff. Yeah. You saw Marcus briefly, so he is there.
But they didn't show a release date, though, right?
All they said was 2019.
Okay. So
my guess is holiday next year. That'll be their sort of big holiday game.
It makes you wonder, like, so when is this Halo? Because Halo didn't even announce. So, it's been... Because last year we didn't have a Gears or Halo.
Correct.
Looks like this year we won't have a Gears or Halo. Mm-mm. Which I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Unless they're going to surprise us at like Gamescom or something later this year and be like, Halo this Christmas. But Gears did look good. We didn't see any like true gameplay. It was all in-game engine cutscenes, but Look, was there a little bit of gameplay?
I think there was a little bit at the very end.
There was, right, because you saw like those weird robot things mutated with the swarm or whatever and stuff. That looked pretty cool. So there was some gameplay, yeah. So there you go. Then they came out a little bit and talked about the streaming of the consoles, right, to your phones or whatever. Basically, they didn't go into detail on it, but the idea is you could like play your Xbox games on your phone somehow with the power of the console, stream it. That. Yeah. And then they mentioned, we're working across Xbox, mobile, PC to bring you the greatest gaming, and that our team is currently deep in development of the next wave of systems.
Correct.
And that was all they said. They didn't put any dates on that. They didn't give any details. Just we are working on the next gen systems. So they're teasing that a little bit, setting the groundwork for that. So then Phil Spencer was wrapping it all up, and all of a sudden it seemed like the entire presentation got hacked. The lights went out, the screens all went out, and then we started seeing what kind of like source code on the screen or whatever.
It was all in red.
Yeah, it was all in red. And
there were some CDs and some projects.
And then the password came up and the username or something was red. Yeah. So, of course, this was the first revealed trailer, true revealed trailer, not like a teaser like we had before, of CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077.
Yep.
And it ran in Game Engine. It said at the beginning, in Game Engine, looked really good.
From the guys from The Witcher.
Right.
Yep. I mean, looked good. Looked awesome.
Again, no true gameplay, and unfortunately there was no more information beyond what they showed us in the trailer. But it looked like a huge world, lots of different things to do. You saw all kinds of augmented people and different types of things going on, battles in the city. It looked like maybe the main character, and it showed him being chased through the streets in like sort of a sports style car. It really stylish, makes you really interested. I almost got a slight Grand Theft Auto vibe from it, like a little bit. Big open world with lots of crazy things to do.
Yeah,
we'll see. The Witcher had some pretty good-sized towns and cities to go to with a big open world to kind of explore. Everything we saw here looked like it took place in this giant sort of futuristic city.
Yeah, it did.
So that could be cool. Just a giant playground with lots of people and lots of buildings. And,
it looked good. Yeah. It looked good. So, and that was it.
Yeah, so that's how it ended. So, and like we said, it was long. It was at least an hour and a half.
So what did you? So all in, what do you?
They showed us a lot. Mm-hmm. The energy was high. I never felt like the conference really lagged, even when they showed us like some in-game, some gameplay stuff. So they moved through it quickly.
No, I agree. I thought it was a good conference. Like I thought that, and I thought they showed it was all about the games, which it needed to be. Just kind of looking back though. So how do you feel? Was there anything? Was your jaw dropped, or was a lot of it kind of what you expected? There were a couple things like
there were definitely some surprises. Battletoads. I was hoping we'd get to see 2077.
Because thinking back to last week in our prediction video, things we had discussed, right? No Perfect Dark, no Fable,
no.
Right, but
you were hoping and dreaming for a resurrection of Scalebound.
Yeah, none of that. So
we pretty much knew Forza Horizon was there. We thought either Halo or Gears. We got a little bit of both. Yeah.
So it was a lot of the same for the most part. Some of the stuff that they talked about, granted, but they're more studios now, so it'll be interesting to see kind of what they can do.
I feel like they're definitely building right. They're headed in the right direction. Correct. Let's put it that way.
And and that's one thing. So I know we've been tough on Microsoft. I know I have especially, but like a lot of like the success that Sony's had, like they turned that around in PlayStation 3.
Right.
Like the PlayStation 3, like the early life cycle was not so great, but the end of the life cycle, they had
some good stuff.
The Uncharted and The Last of Us. They had some good games. They were already working on some of that stuff to kind of springboard them. It's not that quick. It's not that easy. So
I feel like that's what Xbox is doing. And towards the end of this life cycle, Xbox One is picking up.
Correct.
With more exclusives and some really good stuff. So.
Yes. Yeah. So I thought it was good. If we're rating it out of a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, oh my gosh. What would you say?
Just because they gave us so much, I might actually go as high as an 8.
Okay.
You?
I'd probably give it if we're not doing half points, right? I'd probably give it a 7.
If we're doing half points,
I'd give it a 7.5.
That's actually the first number that jumped in my head. But just like I said, they gave us so much, even if it's not all exclusives. Obviously, they have good relationships with like Capcom and Ubisoft, so we got to see.
And there's going to be games, and there's going to be stuff, and just for because we didn't do this because we hadn't gone over the EA, I would give an EA a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, for me,
so just
5,
so you can try to
6,
see,
but yeah.
So and with this, like I thought it was a great conference. I really did. I thought it moved. I thought it was. We saw a lot of stuff. But if you take away, and this is unfortunately, this may be maybe not something that I'm thinking about when I go into my ranking, but like the Ori, as great as that is, the Cuphead expansion, like those are great, but those are kind of your icing on the cake. Right. Those are your indies. Those are great to have, but those aren't your AAA big budget.
They're not necessarily system sellers.
Correct.
They help you keep your system, but not necessarily.
And no disrespect to them. I mean, those are great games.
Oh, yeah.
Those are awesome games.
For sure.
But for me, like the Halo, the Gears, like the Forza, those are like their big pillars.
Right.
We still didn't get anything else other than that.
Right, outside of that. Yeah.
So, now, that said, I mean, after tomorrow, Sony's conference, and maybe even on Tuesday after, we seen that, we may be like, oh man, that was way better than what we thought.
True. It could wind up being the best one. We don't know yet.
Correct.
And my only thing is, a lot of it's 2019.
Yes.
It's kind of like, except for Forza we're getting this year. There were a couple other non-exclusives coming this year. Yes. But yeah, it's like just one more year, everybody, and then that'll be 2019 will be an awesome year to be an Xbox owner. So.
And then also, too, one thing that we were looking at just before the conference started was that they said there may have been a price drop.
Right.
For the Xbox
Which
One X.
Does help, makes it a little bit more tempting.
But I'm not sure. They didn't announce anything, and that would have been a good time to do it. So,
right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely a nice up what's the word I'm looking for? Like upward direction from yesterday's conference.
Oh yeah.
Bethesda, of course, is tonight at 8:30 our time, Central Time, followed by 4 more. We got Square Enix still, Ubisoft, Sony, which everybody's always looking forward to, and then of course Nintendo on Tuesday. But no, Microsoft is definitely one of their better conferences.
I think so.
In recent years, and I think it helps too. Last year they were focused Xbox One X.
Correct.
This is why it's awesome. This year they didn't have to do that as much. They could say, "Oh, Forza will be 60 frames per second," things like that. But they could just focus on games.
Correct. And and also too, one thing to think about, right? So as we wrap up, we may not be getting a Halo or a Gears this year, but look at God of War is a perfect example. It kind of went stale. It went stagnant for quite a few years. I mean, it was what 2008 was the last time. I mean.
When God of War, when did God of War Ascension come out?
That was like 2008 or 9.
Right.
Like it may have been. I mean, it's been probably 5-6 years.
And Ascension is definitely when you kind of feel that fatigue.
Yes.
It wasn't quite as good as the other ones.
Correct. So and they kind of went back to the drawing board and kind of re-envisioned it. Yeah. So them taking a couple years off or extra years off.
Yeah, if it makes the game better. Yeah.
That could be a good thing too. So that's
Plus,
not necessarily a negative.
I mean, this is kind of weird, but this year a bunch of Sony exclusives are coming out. So let's play those this year, and then next year we can get to the Microsoft exclusives.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It makes it easier for us gamers. But
exactly. Yeah.
So that kind of wraps it up for this one, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to cover the Sony one tomorrow. And then I'm sure we'll do a podcast later kind of going over some of the other conferences.
We have to go over Nintendo.
Yeah, we got to talk about Nintendo. I'm curious about what Bethesda brings tonight because they always have a surprise or two.
Do.
So.
Yeah.
But
it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right. So thanks for tuning in. E3 hype is strong.
Right. Woo, hyped.
But yeah, so check us out tomorrow night. We'll do Sony. We're going to upload this video tonight as fast as we can. And we'll see you guys later.
All right. Take care.